Good morning, gang. Happy Saturday morning from a rainy Tennessee. Finally, get some rain. Hopefully, it sticks around for a while. But just because it's raining doesn't mean that, oh, gee, it's a day off. I've got nothing to do. Everything I'll do it tomorrow, right? It's the thing about preppers. We don't ever give up. We have a challenge, we face it head on, and we solve it. Okay. That's what sets us apart from basically the rest of society. And I commend each and every one of you for having that mindset. In the last couple of days, the big topic in the media seems to be the American dream, okay? And how, oh, the American dream is dead. And I get a kick out of it because I think the problem is not that the American dream is dead, it's the definition of what it is. Now, you see a lot of these people that define the American dream as, a house, a car, kids, whatever. Okay. And that's the material way of putting it. The true American dream was the ability to always have greater expectations for yourself, to be able to attain up to the top level of your capabilities, whatever you could do. Okay. And I mean, that's different for everybody. All right. I'm not Albert Einstein. I'm not going to figure out Isaac Newton's laws of gravity or something like that. That's not me. That's not my level of attainability. But the problem we have is that society as a whole has figured out at this point that they're too lazy to attain anything. And the answer is, well, the government will provide it for me. Right? Okay. In the comments on videos, a lot of times people will chastise me for being a diehard Trump supporter. Okay. How can I support him? How can you even believe in voting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm a conservative. The reason I support Trump, okay, for me, okay, we differ for you, is because Trump isn't a politician. He's a businessman, okay? He has reached his American dream. He worked hard. He made negotiated tons of deals or whatever to get where he is. That was the pinnacle of his capabilities. And he did a good job at it. Okay. And I think that by his experience, he could do better for the country as a whole. See, Trump isn't bought out. Can't be bought. That's the thing. Okay. Unlike Potato Joe, who can't do anything except be bought. I mean, we've gone polar opposite, in presidency from 45 to 46. But back to the American dream. Interesting came out this week, new study about people that believe in the American dream. And this again is going back to the materialistic side of it. Okay. You only have 54% of the country that even believes that the own a house, own a car, have a couple of kids is even possible. There's about 37% that either don't believe it's attainable for themselves or don't believe it's attainable at all. Now, I'll give both sides a little bit. The 54%, yeah, they're the ones that think if I work hard enough, I can get there. The 37%, they're the ones that are like, I'm too lazy to work. I'm not even going to bother. I'll just wait for the government to bail me out. Both sides are right. Okay. Because based on Joe's economy, and again, remember, we're talking about the materialistic side of this. New study came out, and for all those of you that are getting into the workplace, the Zoomers that are out there getting into the millennial or getting into the workplace for the first time, use my daughter for example. Okay. New study comes out, says in order to achieve the American dream, again, the materialistic part of it, one would need to earn in their lifetime $3.4 million. I don't know about any of you, and you can go look at this because all you got to do is pull up your Social Security statement. Okay. I haven't come close to earning $3.4 million in my life. Now, granted, I'm not starting my life at this point, but even if you do inflation adjusted, okay. So how are the young kids supposed to earn 3.4 million? Not easy. Certainly not going to happen with your gender studies degree. Okay. So what do? Well, instead of working hard to attain it, their idea is, forget it. I'll just wait for the government to supply it to me. And hence the reason we have this socialist movement. Okay. We look at the ownership of the country. It's not the politicians. It's who's pushing the buttons. You know, talk about Bill Gates, talk about Jeff Bezos, we talk about George Soros, whatever. I mean, come on, Bill Gates is buying up all the apple cider mills or whatever you want to call it, the cider mills, and where they're, to make apple cider vinegar and stuff like that. Oh, what's he doing? He's reducing the acidity of the vinegar so it doesn't store. Just it's an idea. If you're putting apple cider vinegar in your preps, go take a look at the acidity. Maybe the stuff that you bought a couple of years ago and the stuff you bought now. Because the lower the acidity, the lower the shelf life. Okay? They want to control us. Exactly what George was saying. Okay? The corporations own us. They want a bunch of people that are just obedient little slaves. That doesn't sound like the American dream to me. Okay? That's not living up to my capacity. That's not living up to my aspirations. That's living up to, or living down to theirs. Okay? I'm going to give you this. The assets owned by the American public, 88%, almost 89% of the assets owned in the United States are owned by the top 10%. More than 50% now are owned by the top 1%. Okay? The 1%ers crossed the threshold of making more than the middle class in 2020. And it's just getting worse. You think about it, there's 335 million people in this country. That means 3.3 million people own more in everything. Money, stocks, bonds, houses, land, whatever, than the other 331 and change million combined. There's something vastly wrong with that. And it's going to be interesting because eventually the people are going to, the vast majority of people are going to realize this. I mean, if we've got 37% of the people who believe the American dream is not, they're never going to achieve it. And 88% of the people of the assets in the country are owned by the top 1% of the people. How long does it get to be before the people finally say, this ain't right. We need to change this. Not socialism where everybody has the same amount, but where I can actually do something in my life to improve my lot in life. I'm not stuck forever doing what they want me to do. I'll go back to the story of the uber wealthy prepper who has his missile silo and hires a bunch of mercenaries to protect him. And, he's got swimming pools and libraries and full bar and God knows how much food and everything like that. And he feels all safe. And one day the mercenaries are sitting around and they go, the hell do we need him for? Right? Okay. That's the point we have to get to, is where the collective American public is the same as those mercenaries and goes, what the hell do we need them for? Because we don't. We don't need the politicians, like Carlin said, who've been bought out. We don't need the judges. We don't need the Department of Justice or all these governmental agencies who don't care about doing what's right. They care about what's doing to make them wealthy. There's a big difference between us and them. Okay. You and me want to better our lives, but we also want to better the lives of the community, whatever our community is, whether it's here online, whether it's our neighborhood, whether it's our families, whatever community you belong to, whether it's your church group, however you're big, okay? And you good people want to see everyone succeed, provided, of course, they put the effort into it. Good people don't believe in the government's going to save everything. Do we all need help at time in our lives? Yes. Okay. I've had it. You've had it. Anybody that says they've never had help is lying. Okay? Even you get these millionaires or whatever, billionaires, they can't say they never had help. Somebody gave them that first loan they needed to start their business or anything. Somebody helped them. Okay. Not to the point of Barack Obama's, you didn't build that crap. Okay. They had some help, and then it was up to the individual to take that help and extrapolate on it, grow it. The problem we have is we have two entire generations now, the majority of them, not all of them, that don't believe in any of that. They just believe that gimme, 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 gimme. And they're going to be the first ones to die in an SHTF situation. I talked about that article the other day, and that woman who was a prepper, right, that's got 90 days worth of food for her family of 6, okay? And she wanted to, build communities and all this sort of, she's not going to last a freaking week, okay? Building communities is great before an event or after an event. You need to build a community to get through the event. And once those who make it through the event, then you need to rebuild society. Living in that event is what we are all looking toward. Okay. That's the American nightmare. Unfortunately, as Carlin put it, the American dream, you got to be asleep to believe it. Okay. The American nightmare, I'm wide awake for it. And thank God, so are you. Well out.